Your identity is the most important thing that you have. Without creating an identity, you really have nothing. And everyone creates an identity. You cannot go through this life and not have an identity. But if you didn't consciously create your identity, someone else or something else or the environments and your circumstances around you created your identity. You always have an identity, whether you consciously choose to create it or whether someone else or the environment created it for you. But the thing is, if you let the environment create your identity for you, it's usually going to be a very poor identity. It's going to usually be a very destructive or even just average identity that is probably not what you want out of your life, out of your emotions, out of all these things that you value. If someone else gives you an identity, or if just your circumstances or your environment or your family or your friends give you your identity, it's probably not going to be what you want. So you should never rely on your outside environment to determine your identity. That's one of the biggest mistakes that you can possibly make in this life. That's one of the mistakes that I made a lot of the times in my past is I would look around at my circumstances, look around at my life, and I would decide, this is my identity, this is who I am. When in reality, it was just my circumstances, it was just my environment. It had nothing to do with who I was. Who I was what I said I was. And I said, this is who I am because look at my environment. Look at my circumstances. This must be who I am. But your circumstances are not who you are. Who you are is who you say you are. And this is the power of your own voice. This is the power of your own thoughts. This is the power of your own sense of self, is that it actually determines who you are. If you say every single day, I am sick, I am not healthy, I am poor, whatever it is, if you keep saying those things every single day, guess what's going to happen? You're not going to be healthy, you're going to be poor, you're going to be sad, you're going to be depressed. You should very cautiously watch your words and your thoughts. If you say every day, I'm depressed, I'm depressed, I'm depressed, every single day, there is a 100% probability that you will develop extreme depression. This is the power of your words. I've seen it with my own family. I've seen my own family unalive themselves because of what they thought they were, because of their identity that they latched onto. And it wasn't an identity that they decided to have. It was an identity that other people gave to them. I've seen people destroy their lives because of the identity that they let take hold of them, that they let decide who they are. And through changing my own identity personally is how I personally saved my life. My life was a shipwreck. My life was a sinking ship for the majority of my life. And I didn't really think there was any way out because nothing I did seemed to actually change my circumstances. I would try to do different habits. I would try to maintain different disciplines. I would try to do so many different things, but nothing seemed like I could reach escape velocity and actually get out of the horrible situations that I was in. No matter what I did, it just seemed impossible to get out of my circumstances. Because I didn't understand the power of your identity. I kept trying to do different things. I kept trying to form different habits and do different things and do all these things differently. Yet I didn't change my identity. I stayed this person that was a victim, that was all these negative things. I don't even want to talk about them because I don't want to manifest the negativity again. So many things about myself, I don't even want to speak into existence these things, because I know the power of my words. I know the power of my thoughts. I know the power of my identity. But the long story short is, like, once I learned that all there really is the now, all there is the present moments, and your identity in the present moment determines who you are in the present moment. And that actually alters reality, because your thoughts alter reality, believe it or not. Like, your consistent thoughts that you have every single day, that actually alters your reality. And it doesn't even have to be this, like, spiritual woo-woo, like, not scientific thing. You could literally just look at it as your identity is a filter of reality. And your brain and your body is a filtering system. Your identity is a filtering system. So if you filter out all the happiness, if you filter out all the joy, if you filter out all the love, guess what all you're going to have? All you're going to have is sadness, lack of love, lack of joy. If you filter out all those things, that's all you're going to have. So you really have to determine an identity that aligns with what you want in life. You really have to become someone that you want to be now. It's not about in the future, it's about now. Like, let's just look at some very successful person. Let's look at, like, Jeff Bezos or something. If you took away all of his money right now, all of his billions of dollars, you took all of his billions of dollars away, you took away his fame, you took away his connections and all this stuff, and he was just Jeff Bezos, but he had the same identity of he's a billionaire. Do you think he would be on the streets and be broke for very long? Absolutely not. Even if you took away all of his knowledge and his knowledge of, how markets work and how business works and all those things, even if you took away all of his knowledge, but he had the same identity. I am a successful business owner, whatever his identity is, he had the same identity. Do you think if you put him out on the streets that he would just be a bum, a broke drug addict or something, or a low-level paying job? Absolutely not. He would absolutely start a business and probably become very successful at it, because this is what identity does. You decide now, this is who I am. I am this person now. Yeah, my environment might not reflect it right now, but this is still who I am. And eventually my environment will conform to who I am. That's the power of your identity, is your environment eventually has to conform to who you are. If you hold the identity long enough, and if you really stay true to it, and you try to behave, and you try to become, and you try to actually live within this identity, and you think about it often, your environment, your circumstances, and your emotions have to change to it. And I know this from personal experience, because I used to be in such a negative place in my life. It's only when I started working with my identity did things start to finally get better. Like, after years and years, like decades of pain and suffering, I didn't know that the solution was just to change my identity. Just change who I thought I was. Once I started doing that, all these problems started going away. Just automatically. I wasn't even thinking about them. I wasn't even, like, trying to figure out solutions to my problems. I just changed my identity, and these problems just started going away one by one. One by one. And now I'm actually in a place where I have a half decent life. And it's only upwards from here. It's only like, now I understand basically everything I did wrong, which was pretty much just choosing the wrong identities. And now I know how to get out of those things, and now I know how to build myself up. how to actually build the life that I want. So I think this is like one of the biggest lessons that I've learned in my entire life, to be honest. And no one teaches it. School doesn't teach it. Your parents don't teach it to you. No one teaches this. You got to learn this the hard way. Like, my health suffered because of this. Like, my physical health suffered because I chose the wrong identities. My mental health, everything suffered because I chose the wrong identities. And if you just choose positive identities, you choose abundant identities, you start getting those things. You start getting positivity. You start getting abundance. You start getting the relationships that you want. This is how it works. So, just wanted to share that in this video. I'll see y'all later. Have an amazing day.